Intimacy versus sex. What is the difference? What is intimacy? Topic for the day, and I'm just waiting to go live in all the places. Okay, I think I'm live in all the places. All right. So I was just talking with someone recently who I discovered does not realize what the difference is between intimacy and sex. He thought that they are the same thing. And to some degree, that might be cultural. But at the same time, at a certain level, that's also very prevalent. That confusion is very prevalent in my culture as well, I would say, living in the United States. So I am Shauna White, heartfelt intimacy coach, helping people to develop the self-awareness skills and the communication skills to allow heartfelt intimacy to flow naturally in their relationship. And an effect of that is naturally more and better sex, but the two are not the same. So let's take a closer look at that. That's what we're up to today. So sex, we'll start there. That's pretty easy, is a physical activity with a certain feeling to it. Sex is not necessarily intimate, unfortunately. And that makes me think of like the, for instance, if you were to, they call it porn. I don't think it's technically porn, but if you look at sexy videos, there's a version of sex going on there. But how much intimacy do you really see there? How much emotional connection? How much energetic connection? How much presence of love is in that experience? And unfortunately, I think that those videos have taken a role of being intimacy education, or education about how men and women connect deeply together, which is just not true. It's just not the case. And so intimacy, what is intimacy really? Intimacy is very intangible. It is not something you can say that if people are doing a particular activity, that means that they are intimate. Intimacy is an energetic experience of feeling another person, feeling yourself, and feeling the, I want to say feeling merging, but it's not always a feeling of merging. But what's so wild is that intimacy can take place in all different kinds of relationships, all different kinds of relationships. And it has nothing to do with sex. But it is an incredibly beautiful experience that teaches us more about the nature of love and the nature of who we are, what we are as humans, what we're capable of. I experience a good deal of intimacy with my clients because, and this is not about the subject matter that we talk about, but in order to do the work that I do, in order to guide people to the state of inner balance that they need in order to achieve the high caliber results of flow and harmony and connection in their relationship that I help people to achieve, I have to be able to feel them energetically. So as I sit in a session with somebody and I listen to their words, I'm listening to what they're saying from a logical point of view, but I'm also feeling the energy on their words so that I can discern where are the pockets of cloudiness that we need to untangle, or the tangles we need to untangle, or the blank spots that we need to dive deeper in, blank blind spot. I'm feeling the client's energy to feel the quality of their emotion, their awareness in relationship to themselves as they're talking about what they're talking about. This is intimacy, feeling them energetically. Now, I've developed that skill over time. You don't need to be able to feel into someone's energy through conversation in order to experience intimacy. You can still access intimacy from a place of really being open in your awareness and in your questions. So you can come from a more of a communication point of view if you find how to develop communication that draws people out, that and you find how to communicate from a place that you're actually revealing yourself instead of playing your cards close to the chest, as they say. So anyway, so my point being that intimacy is this feeling of connection, and you can get to it a few different ways. But the problem is that the problem comes when people try to get to intimacy by jumping the gun into, for instance, people can often try to reverse engineer intimacy by being sexual first. In other words, being sexual without that energetic connection. And it's an interesting thing because being sexual with someone will open up a certain kind of energetic connection with that person, but it's just an energetic connection. It's not really intimacy, because when you go about it that way, you actually haven't discovered yourself and the other person through awareness. It's very interesting. And then I'm actually seeing this now and describing it now on the spot, right? I mean, I've seen this before, but to put it together into words right now is an interesting thing that I haven't done before. Even in an established relationship where intimacy has flowed, and I say that, intimacy is not the kind of thing that just you set it and forget it. It's not a set it and forget it thing. Intimacy flows in the moment, and then in the next moment and the next moment, you have to reopen that deep place of discovery together in order to experience that energetic journey of connection. Because it starts with an energetic journey of connection inside yourself first, and then with another person. And that always happens fresh in the now. So you always have to reopen that. But when people try to get there by doing the act of sex rather than connecting to themselves and to their partner in that fresh unknown, when they do it first by that physical act, then you end up kind of like in an energetic bond with somebody. But I want to say, boy, I gotta be careful. I want to say, as a child, but what I mean is in an immature way. This is two topics that shouldn't be mixed. But in an immature way, bonded energetically with somebody, that I don't call intimacy, because you don't have the awareness of connection. You don't have the awareness of self becoming together in the moment that actually takes you higher into love and growth and self-awareness. That's what intimacy is it always takes you higher into self-awareness and the awareness of how love works and growth and all of that. And I'll tell you, I had intimacy with my horse, and unfortunately my horse is no longer with me, but she was with me for 28 years. And somewhere in the middle, there was an evening when she was insistent, actually, trying to connect with me. I I wanted to leave. It was late at night and I wanted to go home. I had fed them, but she followed me to the edge of the pasture and she whinnied when I left. And so I went back and then I left and she whinnied. And so I went back. And this happened like 3 or 4 times. And I was trying to honor her and listen. I didn't just want to be like, talk to the hand. I want to go to sleep. So when she called me, I came back and I was standing there with her. And I let myself connect to myself in that self connection place so that I could connect with her in an energetic place. So I actually, instead of just standing there, my body next to her body, petting her and talking to her from my head, I went to a place of actual intimacy where I could feel her energetically. And when I did that, I felt this burst of love energy in her heart. And I felt that love in my heart. And it was brief, but it was beautiful. It was the first time I had experienced that, even though I had many years of being with her and taking care of her and loving her. But that was the first time that I actually shared heart energy with her like that in a literal, experiential way. And so I was with her for a few minutes in that space of feeling her energetically and having had that heart burst with her, which was brief but beautiful. And then I felt like there was closure and I left and she didn't whinny. She got the level of connection that she was looking for. But there was nothing sexual about that. That was all just energetic connection. And that's what intimacy is. It's like a completely different thing than sex. But I will say that I would never want to have sex without that. Because there's so much opportunity to explore sexuality without intimacy because it's all over in our media and the way it's presented in the media and the movies and the magazines and the TV shows and all that stuff is very disconnected. It's very much about like a physical act or an emotional act, an act of emotional attachment or an act of emotional need, power plays, manipulations. Like there's so many different kinds of energy that is depicted in sexuality in our popular culture. But I don't know of anywhere in popular culture that actually depicts real intimacy in sex. And so it's not surprising that people get it confused, that or don't understand how to be intimately involved or have an intimate act without real intimacy. So I guess I've covered what's the difference as I've wandered along in this thought process. And what are your thoughts about intimacy? Where have you experienced intimacy besides, besides in sex? Have you experienced energetic intimacy with a horse yourself? Anyway, share anything you want to in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And yeah, and I am dedicated as a heartfelt intimacy coach. I'm dedicated to helping people understand intimacy and then achieve intimacy. And it starts with our connection with ourselves. But then by going inward, we can actually feel others. And it takes relationship to such a higher place. And it's one of the most beautiful journeys and adventures that we have the opportunity to explore and grow through. as human beings on this planet. And I'm streaming this video to a few different places. I know I'm streaming it inside my group. So I hope everybody in my group is enjoying this. If you're not in my group and you relate to the desire to master relationship as a way of bringing love and harmony to your life and to the planet at the same time, then I invite you to join my group, and I'll put the link below. All right. I'll talk to you again soon.